Okay, welcome back in. I've been slacking a lot when it comes to looking at my hockey reviews. It's been well over a month. I think the last thing I covered was right after Christmas or right before Christmas, so it's definitely been a few days. So I figure I want to get back on track as it is January, heading into February, which means there's really only like a month and a half left of regular season hockey, and then the playoffs should begin here in April. So we're getting close to the end. So we had a total of 8 games from Tuesday night, January 28th, and I will be titling the videos by the date rather than saying it's day 72 of hockey because I have no idea what day I'm on right now. Okay, so starting in Montreal, the team I cheer for, unfortunately, fell short against the Jets 4-1. Uri Slafkovsky would open up the scoring for the Habs, assisted by Suzuki and Caulfield, 11:03 of the first. Kyle Connor would tie the game up in the first, getting his 28th of the season from Velarde and DeMello, 15:36 of the first period. In the second period, just over halfway through, Mark Scheifele would give the Jets their first lead of the game, getting his 29th of the year from Velarde and Morrissey. Kyle Connor would add a second goal with just 2 seconds remaining on the clock, his 29th of the season, assisted by Gustafsson. So the Jets had a 3-1 lead heading into the third. Montreal would pull their goalie. Unfortunately, it did not pan out as Rasmus Kapari would get his 4th goal of the year, an empty netter from Ehlers and Perfetti. And that goal happened with 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining on the clock. So the Jets, no surprise, would get yet another win on the season. So you want to talk about a bit of an upset as the Buffalo Sabres played host to the Boston Bruins. Mason Lohrei would kick things off in the first, getting his 3rd goal of the season, unassisted, 12:44 of the first. Tage Thompson would tie the game up, 13:39 of the first, getting his 23rd of the year from Cousins and Peterka. He gets his 2nd goal of the game in the second period, getting his 24th of the year from McLeod and Samuelson, 4:43 of the middle frame. J.J. Peterka would get on the goal scorer sheet himself, giving the Sabres a 3-1 lead, 6 minutes and 32 seconds in the second period, assisted by Power and Thompson. Thompson would get a natural hat trick, making it 4-1 at that point in favor of the Sabres, 3:13 of the third period. For Thompson, that'd be his 25th goal of the year, assisted by Dahlin and Byram. Brad Marchand would cut the deficit in half, getting a power play goal, his 18th of the season from Lindholm and Pasternak, 10:13 of the third. J.J. Peterka would get his 2nd goal of the game, assisted by Kulich, increasing the lead to 5-2, 10 minutes and 43 seconds of the third. He would then get a hat trick himself, so there was 2 hat tricks in the game, obviously both by the Sabres. An empty net goal, increasing the lead to 6-2, 14:26 of the third period. And Zach Benson's like, well, we already got 2 hat tricks. Let me at least get 1 goal. He would get a power play goal with just 13 seconds remaining, his 9th of the season from Quinn and Cousins. So the Sabres would win huge, 7-2. It's like a football score. The Chicago Blackhawks went into Tampa Bay to take on the Lightning. Braden Point would kick things off in the first, getting his 28th of the year from Kucherov and Jake Gensel, 3:34 of the first period. Connor Bedard would tie the game up just over halfway through that period, getting his 14th of the year on the power play from Seth Jones and Nick Foligno. Landon Slegart would get his first goal of the season from Reichel, 18:14 of the second period, or a minute and 46 seconds remaining in the frame. Ryan Donato would increase the lead to 3-1 in the third period, 8:02 to be exact. For Donato, that'd be his 15th goal of the year from Seth Jones and Kurashev. Teuvo Teravainen would get his 11th goal of the year, an empty net goal from Jason Dickinson, and that goal happened with 57 seconds to go in the game. So the Blackhawks would win 4-1. The Carolina Hurricanes went into New York to take on the Rangers. Andrei Svechnikov would open up the scoring just 56 seconds into the opening frame, assisted by one of the new acquisitions, Taylor Hall and Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Svechnikov would get his 2nd goal of the game with just 31 seconds remaining, assisted by the other new acquisition from the Hurricanes, Mikko Rantanen and Blake. Sebastian Aho would score a minute and 4 seconds into the third, getting his 17th of the year, assist by Sveshnikov. So the guy had 3 points in the game. So he had increased in the lead to 3-0 at that point. And then Seth Jarvis would score 2:30 of the third period, getting his 19th of the season, assisted by Jordan Martinook. So the Hurricanes would shut out the Rangers 4-0. So the Colorado Avalanche went into New York to take on the Islanders. The only really intriguing factor is that Patrick Waugh, the coach of the Islanders, coaching against the team he won 2 Stanley Cups with as a goaltender. So the captain, Anders Lee, would kick things off for the Islanders in the second period. There was no scoring in the first, getting his 22nd of the year from Nelson and D'Angelo, who just recently signed with the Islanders for the remaining of the season, 4:11 of the second period. Arturi Lehkonen would tie the game up with exactly 7 minutes to go in the second, getting his 21st of the year from McKinnon and Nichus, the new acquisition for the Avalanche. Simon Holmstrom would give the Islanders a 2-1 lead, 1 minute and 54 seconds into the third period. That would be his 11th goal of the season, assisted by Jean-Gabriel Pageau. Bo Horvat would increase the lead to 3-1, 11:23 of the third period, getting his 18th of the year, assisted by Lee and Paranovich. Jack Drury would get his first goal as a member of the Colorado Avalanche, assisted by Nichus. They were both teammates in Carolina, and Josh Manson. That goal happened 14:55 of the third, cutting the deficit to 3-2. Alexander Romanov would get his second goal of the season with 2.5 minutes to go, assisted by Holmstrom and Cizikas, increasing the lead to 4-2. The Avalanche would pull their goalie. Unfortunately, it did not pan out, as Simon Holmstrom, I believe, would get his second goal of the game, his 12th of the year, an empty netter, assisted by Pageau. And that goal happened with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the game. So the Islanders would win 5-2. The Calgary Flames played host to the Washington Capitals. Pierre-Luc Dubois would kick things off in the first, getting his 11th goal of the year, 1 minute and 51 seconds into the opening frame. Blake Coleman would tie the game up at 1, getting his 11th goal of the year from Barrie and Kuzmenko, 12:17 of the second period. Dylan Strome would give the Capitals their second lead of the night with just under 5 minutes to go, his 13th of the year on the power play from Carlson and Shecherkin. Alexis Protas would score with 2.5 minutes to go, increasing the lead to 3-1, assisted by Eller and Trevor Van Riemsdyk. So the Capitals would win 3-1. The Vegas Golden Knights played host to the Dallas Stars. Jack Eichel would kick things off for the Golden Knights in the first period, 1 minute and 54 seconds into the frame, getting his 16th of the year, assisted by Barbashev and Mark Stone. Marvik Bork would tie the game up in the first, 3 minutes and 41 seconds to be exact, getting his 6th goal of the year from Duchesne and Heiskanen. Thomas Hertl would give the Vegas Golden Knights a 2-1 lead, 6:35 in the first period, getting his 19th of the year, assisted by Haig and Dorofiev. So 3 goals were scored in the opening 6.5 minutes. In the second period, Pavel Dorofiev would increase the lead to 3-1, getting his 22nd goal of the year on the power play from Stone and Eichel, 3:57 of the second period. Just about 1 minute and 7 seconds after that, I do believe, Wyatt Johnston would get a shorthanded goal, his 12th of the year, assisted by Hintz, cutting the lead to 3-2. Wyatt Johnston would score his second goal of the game in the third, 11:54 of that frame, getting his 13th of the year from Hintz and Jason Robertson. The game would need to go to overtime, and big surprise, Wyatt Johnston would get the game-winning goal just 20 seconds into the frame, his 14th of the year from Hintz and Lindell. So if it wasn't for Wyatt Johnston, this game could have been 3-1 for Vegas, but he came to play, we'll put it that way. So the Stars would win 4-3 in overtime. And the last game from Tuesday took place in Seattle as the Kraken played host to the Anaheim Ducks. Troy Terry would kick things off in the first period, getting his 16th goal of the year from Ryan Strome and Vetrano, 123 of the opening frame. Eli Tolvanen would tie the game up at 1, getting his 14th goal of the year, assisted by Brandon Montour, 6:43 of the first period. Mitchell Stevens would get his first goal of the season from Oleksiak and Cardle, 8:20 of the first frame. Cutter Gauthier would tie the game up at 2, getting his 8th goal of the year from Fabry, 11:59 of the first period. And staying in the first, Jaden Schwartz would give the Kraken a 3-2 lead with just under 6 minutes to go. That'd be his 17th goal of the year, assisted by Kakko and Beniers. Early in the second, Mason McTavish would tie the game up at 3, getting his 12th goal of the year from Strome and Lacombe. Robbie Fabry would would give the Ducks their first lead of the night, his 8th of the season from McTavish, 5:39 of the second frame, putting the Ducks on top 4-3. Jackson Lacombe would increase the lead to 5-3, 7:58 of the second period, getting his 9th goal of the year, assisted by Lundstrom and Layson. Shane Wright would cut into that lead, getting his 9th goal of the year on the power play from McCann and Montour, 6:15 of the third period. Late in the third period, the Kraken would pull their goalie. Unfortunately, it did not pan out. They could not tie it up, and Frank Vetrano would get the empty netter, his 14th goal of the season. With 1 minute and 16 seconds to go, the Ducks would win 6-4. So now we'll take a look at the wild card standings. I'm just going to move my tablet back so you can actually see the top of the screen. So in the Atlantic, the Toronto Maple Leafs are atop of that division. After 50 games played, they are 30-18-2. They have 62 points on the season. The Florida Panthers have played 51 games. They have 29 wins, 19 losses, and 3 overtime/shootout losses for 61 points. They're only 1 point behind the Leafs for first place. Now, this is a bit of a surprise. The Ottawa Senators, a team that I thought would do well, but I didn't think they'd be in the division in the top 3 of the Atlantic. But they are after 50 games. They have a record of 26-20-4. They have 56 points. In the Metropolitan, we have the Washington Capitals, who I'm just as surprised as the next person. They're still in first place in that division. I can't believe how amazing they are doing this year. 34 wins, 11 losses, and 5 overtime/shootout losses. They have 73 points. I'm pretty sure they have the best record in the NHL. If they don't, they for sure have the best record in the Eastern Conference. The Carolina Hurricanes, after 51 games played, they are 31-16-4. They have 66 points. And the Devils round out the top 3 of the Metro. After 52 games played, they are 28-18-6. They have 62 points. In the wild card, we have 2 teams from the Atlantic. The Boston Bruins are in the first wild card spot. After 52 games, they have a record of 25-21-6 for 56 points. And the Tampa Bay Lightning, after 49 games played, are 26-20-3. They have 55 points. All right, rounding out the rest of the Eastern Conference, you can see the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're right there in the thick of things. After 50 games played, they are 24-19-7. They have 55 points. The Detroit Red Wings, after 50 games played, are 24-21-5. They have 53 points. Montreal has the exact same record as Detroit. The New York Rangers are 24-22-4 for 52 points after 50 games. After 51 games, the Philadelphia Flyers are 23-22-6. They have 52 points. The New York Islanders are after 49 games played are 22-20-7. They have 51 points. The Pittsburgh Penguins, I didn't think that this was going to be possible, are in last place in the Metropolitan Division. After 52 games played, they are 20-24-8. They have 48 points. They are currently 7 points out of a wildcard spot. And the Buffalo Sabres, after 50 games played, are 19-26-5. They have 43 points. So I'll just say this right now. Between the Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams separated by 4 points. I can't believe how close and tight that Eastern Conference is, and it'll be a dogfight all the way to the end. I mean, it's crazy to think that if the trade deadline happened today, I think the only teams that are likely sellers would possibly be Pittsburgh, for sure Buffalo, because they're 12 points behind Tampa Bay for that last place. But if I'm an Islanders GM, Philly, New York Rangers, Montreal, Detroit, or Columbus, I am more than likely going to be a buyer once the trade deadline uh, is near, unless you've fallen that far out of a playoff spot. So it's crazy to think how tight and close the Eastern Conference really is, especially for those two wild card spots. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the Western Conference. The Winnipeg Jets are still in first place of the Central Division with a record of 35-14-3. They have 73 points. After 50 games played, the Dallas Stars are 32-17-1. They have 65 points. And the Minnesota Wild, after 50 games played, are 29-17-4. They have 62 points. In the Pacific Division, the Edmonton Oilers are atop of that division. After 50 games played, they are 32-15-3. They have 67 points. The Vegas Golden Knights are, after 51 games played, are 31-15-5. They also have 67 points. And the Los Angeles Kings, after 47 games played, are 26-15-6. They have 58 points. So I'm going to say this right now. It's probably going to be either Vegas or Edmonton that get that Pacific Division. They both have a 9-point lead on the Los Angeles Kings. I'm not saying the Kings can't catch up because there's still a lot of hockey, and they have 3 or 4 games on those two teams respectively. So who knows what can happen and where they're going to finish by the end of the standings. But if I was a betting man, again, I think either the Oilers or the Golden Knights will more than likely get that Pacific Division crown. So the two teams in the wildcard spots are the Colorado Avalanche and the Calgary Flames. The Avalanche, after 52 games played, are 29-21-2. They have 60 points. They're just 2 points behind Minnesota in that division. And as for Calgary, after 49 games played, they are 24-18-7. They're 5 points behind Colorado, and they're 3 points behind LA for that last spot in the Pacific. All right, so now take a look at the rest of the Western Conference. The Vancouver Canucks are just on the outside looking in. After 49 games played, they are 22-17-10. They have 54 points. The St. Louis Blues, after 51 games played, are 23-24-4. They have 50 points. The Utah Hockey Club, after 49 games played, are 21-21-7. They have 49 points. The Anaheim Ducks, after 50 games, are 21-23-6. They have 48 points. The Seattle Kraken are 22-27-3. They have 47 points after 52 games played. For Nashville, 48 games played, 18-23-7 is their record. They have 43 points. The Chicago Blackhawks, after 50 games played, are 16-29-5. They have 37 points. And the San Jose Sharks are the last team in the Western Conference. After 53 games played, they have 15 wins, 32 losses, and 6 overtime/shootout losses for 36 points. All right, that's going to take care of Tuesday's recap from the National Hockey League season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.